Good evening, guys. I'm back for this week's AMA. I'm happy to see if you have already joined and started asking questions. Um, so I've joined a bit early to the AMA, but it's good to see a lot of people already in with their questions. So what I'm going to do, as I do every time, I'm going to wait for some more time, guys. Sorry for people who've already joined. We have to allow other users to come in. So this week's topic is a bit interesting. Um, we're gonna discuss about another parallel industry, as I would call it, which is the CBDC. Right? Uh, is CBDC gonna have as much as magic as crypto as we have seen, or what's gonna be the role of CBDC? I definitely see a lot of people having interesting questions that they've asked. Um, but yeah, um, the use cases of CBDC are going to be much uh, different. There are the couple of use cases that could overlap, but the principal job or the problem that both CBDC and crypto are going to solve are much different, right? So that's at the core of these two products. But the critical part of then, um, where will CBDC be used? Um, how is it going to be used? Um, what are the uh, uh, pretty interesting use cases that CBDC can help? Thought I'll delve into all those details. Now, before that, let me welcome people who have joined in for the AMA. Hi, Sonu. I'll definitely answer your question. Erka B, Erka and Bay. Happy to have you here. Yogesh here. Happy to have you. Sharma, sister, happy to have you here again. Uh, Raute Moam, welcome. TG, next YouTuber, welcome please. Mr. Husnain, YouTube, welcome you to the AMA. Verto 1222. Hey Verto, I'll definitely answer your question. Ajay Thakur, good to have you here. So I can see people are slowly joining in. Let me. Whoa, 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 whoa. So that's some quick bullets of questions that I've landed at. Um, okay. Oh, I'm I'm definitely going to answer all these things, guys. Wonderful. So there's a lot of questions. So before we delve into these questions, hi Anil, hi Ani, hi Shai Shri, hi Parvani, hi Mohammad Anish, hi Aztec, hi Jim Lover 2345, hi Ahmad Maqsood, Ajay Thakur, hi. So good to have you all guys here. So let me quickly start off. I'm seeing people have already gotten ready. They're on their guns to understand about CBDC. Interesting to see a lot of interest for CBDC. Okay. So great. The first thing, guys, now, as you guys all know, CBDC is a blockchain based system built by the Indian government, right? So, how is it going to be different from UPI? How is it going to be different from any other currency? So, we need to understand certain structures while we are trying to see how the CBDC works, right? Now, UPI, IMPS, RTGS, and all these things are networks, right? Networks like the MasterCard, Visa, or any other network. Now, banks in India, they transfer the funds within them, basically between their customers as well, by using the network. So, consider this network as straightforward as a mailing system, like a Gmail, right? You pass message with the right format as text saying, okay, this is the customer account number, he's transferring to this account number, so make a debit entry here and make a credit entry there, right? So this network system is provided by the government of India, be it UPI, IMPS, or any other network, to make sure that there is a common structure within which everyone is transacting, and to make sure that the government has got a control over this particular network system. Now, are all network system controlled by government? Not necessarily. Your best examples are the credit card payment networks like Mastercard and UPI, but the banking systems, the transactions between banking systems that we use apart from credit cards or debit cards are all through the government built networks, which are IMPS, NEFT, RTGS, and UPI as the most famous UPIs that we use frequently in our lives. Now, what is CBDC then? Consider CBDC as yet another network, but this network is a bit different because in this network, the settlement happens much more better and faster compared to any other network. Now, why do I say that? Now, UPI being the network which has got the quickest settlement, isn't that better? Now, you guys should consider UPI more or less like the layer 2 systems. So what happens in layer 2 systems, though they are faster, quicker, and everything than the layer 1, the security is lesser in the layer 2 systems, correct? There is more security in the layer 1. So in this scenario, let's not take security as an example. Let's say that the settlement risk is higher in these networks. So what they do, that is why they limit UPA transactions less than a lakh, or few banks have it for 25,000 a day or something. So after these transactions are done, the banks have to settle within each other. And to ensure that the bank doesn't face a settlement risk, there's a limit in these transactions. Now, what does CBDC bring in? CBDC brings in this capability that there's no need for now these banks have to give a time break for settlement or give a particular amount limit for settlement. They can quickly settle things because they can quickly audit things because of the nature of blockchain, right? Since CBDC uses blockchain. Now, though all that sounds good, this is all my perspective, guys. For the use cases such as transfer of funds between people, let's take an example. UPA, I think, is doing a pretty great job in ensuring that transaction between retail to B2B and even retail to retail, like customer to customer, is happening in a much faster and has got a better user adoption. And I think even going forward, UPA will still lead the race in terms of your payments and all that. Now, the pilot program that is being run on CBDC, though the numbers are 5 million users are there in CBDC, I strongly believe that most of those pilot programs are, or the users numbers what they're showing is not active users who are using it for the daily purposes. But I do understand there is a wholesale part of it. Wholesale is bank to bank transactions. Bank has to settle with another bank. Those are wholesale transactions. In wholesale transactions, I think these are actually being used. If not for every transaction, there are a good decent percentage of transactions are being settled through CBDC. Now, for general retail use case, I don't think CBSE will be the solution. I think there are better solutions in the market. Even if I don't consider anything in the crypto ecosystem, be it UPA, IMPS, RTGS, I think they're all in their respective use cases that they're trying to solve, that they're doing a greater job there. So I don't think CBDC will be trying to eat away their share from the market. Then what is the need of CBDC, right? So the actual power of CBDC comes in because it's capability of being able to program it. Programmability of CBDC is one of the biggest advantages that could be helpful. Now, what do I mean by that? Now, let's take an example and try to understand. Now, suppose I'm just trying to take one of the examples what the RBI Governor Shaktikanta Das recently in one of the speeches spoke about CBDC, and he somewhere spoke about this use case. I'm just trying to rephrase it for better understanding. Now, consider now there is a incentive that the government wants to give, uh, an agricultural incentive the government wants to give to the farmers. Now, just for example, let's consider this incentive is for buying fertilizers and manure. Now, the biggest worry that the government has is, no, I'm giving this incentive. Let's take an example. I give it as cash, but how do I make sure that the particular farmer is spending this on spending this on buying fertilizers and manure and not anything else? So that particular incentive that is being given, you cannot really control it for the use case that you want to in the traditional systems. Now, what the idea is, with the help of CBDC, consider this like a token, guys. I can create a specific token in CBDC, which could be fertilizer token. So basically, you can go spend this token only in the government approved fertilizer shops, right? So, in a way, what the government can do, they can program it in such a way that I am giving you this particular token in CBDC, which you can only claim it in a government approved fertilizer shop. So, this programmability and tokenization of CBDC will have a very, very interesting use case, right? Consider it even in public distribution system or ration shops, right? Now, I can give tokens which can be used only in the PDC, public distribution system, PDS systems, or the ration shops to go buy things. So this particular concept of tokenization and programmability of CBDC, I think that could have a much, much better use case, better reach than the general use case of being used for transactions and general payments. I don't think that is where CBDC will make a difference. I think even within its own league of networks that the government has created, it will not prove better than any other network there. But in other areas where I can divert it to a particular spending, I think it has definitely has got a game to play. Now, I'm going through a lot of questions that users have asked on CBDC perspective. What is the privacy that you hold? Guys, let's first understand, anything that has blockchain to it, we should not think that, privacy is the thing that it is being built for. CBDC has got nothing to do with privacy. Let us be very clear. It is as good as you maintaining a bank account and then you're operating it. CBDC is not a standalone decentralized blockchain network which you're using. It is a centralized network created by the government of India, by RBI, that you're using. So when you're touching CBDC, leave Giottus as a platform or leave any other platform who's maybe giving you an option to trade in CBDC or buy CBDC. Uh, there's the same privacy that you get while using a bank account, right? You cannot ask for more or you cannot ask for less. Actually, as a matter of fact, the RBI would have better view and better understanding of the transactions compared to the transactions happening directly through a bank. Now, if CBDC grows to a larger level, I think it gives much more control and power to the RBI to directly give away a lot of benefits, reach end customers easily, and implement a lot of strategies that they would hold directly without having middlemen who are banks and other financial institutions. So that's my view, guys. Now, so for people who have all this notion and questions on privacy and CBDC, please, this is not the product was not built for privacy, right? The product was built for something else. Now, the use case of this product is totally different. Now, how good it could solve the use case, though theoretically it looks all good, but practically how it is going to roll out, we all have to wait and watch. We definitely have a success story in the form of UPI. the government is again coming out with ULI, which is the lending interface, right? And there's a lot of other stacks that the government is building. So I'm just hoping that it will have a good use case in a lot of areas. Uh, but I think we should be asking our right questions when we are trying to evaluate. First thing is CBDC is not an asset that you invest in, guys. I mean, okay, INR is a currency, and this is another form of INR, right? It is not like an equity, or it's not like a debt instrument where you buy it and you get interest on it. Now, there could be a bank or even some financial institution in future who could say you can park your CBDC and get interest on it. Because at the end of the day, it is as good as INR, right? So whatever they can do with your INR in your savings account or in an FD, they can just roll out that particular product for CBDC as well, right? So that is how you should view it. You should not view it like it is a form of an investment. I mean, yeah, traditionally country currencies could also be an investment asset, but you don't see it totally different from an INR point of view when we are looking at investment as your objective. Now, that's a major thing. So, I think with this discussion, I've answered a lot of areas of what about CBDC and about privacy. What about CBDC versus UPI? CBDC versus UPI. UPI will continue to dominate in the use case that it has already solved. CBDC will be solving new use cases, like I discussed, where it requires the smart contract capability and tokenizing or creating INR tokens, which are to be used for a particular job or a particular action, right? That is where the real power of CBDC comes in. What I don't know if these are like series of questions. I don't know. It looks all generated by few set of people, but it's okay. I don't think CBDC will have a direct DeFi connectivity unless and until centralized players like us find a way to integrate it and find a way to use it in DeFi. I don't think CBDC is gonna have a direct connectivity to DeFi, and the trouble is CBDC should also have um, a larger base, right? See, now they're going to roll it in a controlled manner. Now, is the CBDC going to be accessible by people across the world and everything? There's a lot of questions there, right? It is going to be a controlled set of network. So we will always be limited by the control it has. And hence, taking it to DeFi will also have its own set of controls and permissioned entries, what will be there, and not a permissionless entry as we have seen in the crypto ecosystem. So Giottus has nothing much to do here. We just will make sure that if there is a way we can introduce a option to also integrate CBDC with us, and you can trade CBDC to any other crypto. But it's too early to comment on all that, because to do that, we should also have approvals from the government to enable this in the system. And currently, it is in a pilot state. So I don't think in a pilot state we will be able to get it into an exchange in a formal structure. Yeah. So yes, I have usual users also here. Toddy, good morning, Todd. I mean, good evening, Toddy. It's good to see you again here. Unknown crypto users, again, good to see you even here. Now, this is I'm really surprised by the amount of interest I'm seeing for CBDC, guys. This is usually surprising to notice. I'm also taken aback uh, by what idea people could have uh, when we talk about CBDC. I mean, I'm pretty sure most people thought that this is crypto that the government is launching, but that's not how you should think about, isn't it? It is another network. It's a blockchain based network. It is like UPI. It is like IMPS. It is like RTGS, but with a different technology to it. thanks to the crypto ecosystem, which made sure that this tech hits the mainstream. Now, the use case is going to be now. See, now even crypto ecosystem, we talk about how crypto can be used for solving supply chain problems, how it can be solved for tokenizing, making sure there is a fractional ownership of things and all that. Now, CBDC could also have all those as use cases, but the key difference here would be part A, the reach that a crypto could have. It could be quickly getting into a global realm compared to a CBDC, because through a CBDC, not just India, any country has to make sure that it is also easily accessible to others around the world, because this is going to be a permission network, guys. It is not going to be a permission-less network like a crypto ecosystem. Now that is going to be one big difference. Now, the second thing, obviously, is when we talk about crypto here, a lot of things are governed by the rules of the chain itself, right? The protocol itself. The rules are there in the protocol level itself, right? What should happen, what should not happen, and usually, in many cases, it is governed by a decentralized organization, a DAO, or by the participants of the chain or the ecosystem. Now, in case of a CBDC, the rules are going to be defined by the government, and and then that is an interesting part, because in a general Indian ecosystem, I think it should work well. But when we are talking about a global ecosystem, how is the network formed by one government and the rules applied by one government going to be accepted and agreed by other governments, and there's going to be a greater adoption into such a network? That will be an interesting thing to watch out for. That is going to be the most uphill task in the global adoption of CBDC. Ideally, any government would be definitely aiming for global adoption of CBDC. That is, I think even governments around the world have been vocal about this, that they are definitely looking at global adoption of the CBDC. But how is that going to work out when there are going to be CBDCs across the world by different governments? How are uh, uh, the cross-chain transactions going to happen? Uh, I think I think crypto has been much early in this space, trying to solve a lot of problems in that particular space. I'm pretty sure that the CBDCs across the world can definitely take a lot of learnings, like they usually have done in their general CBDC for as well, and implement it within their ecosystem as well. So yeah, so this is an interesting thing that we could watch out for. I seriously doubt CBDC would have to do anything to cut off with premiums. Now, there is a premium in USDT, because getting in USDT and getting out USDT is not an easy job to do within India, right? So, if someone has uh, gotten in USD, so they definitely have had a cost or risk associated with it, and that's why the premium is being charged. So, I mean, with CBDC, I don't think it's going to be anything less, right? Because it is that asset that you're buying with USDT that is costly, right? Or USDT itself is being costly, because USDT as an asset is not, you cannot easily get inside India. So there's a huge demand for it, and there's supply demand ratio, and that is ideally why you are buying at a premium. So I don't think CBDC will be doing anything out there. Um, yeah, Tori, I'll be happy to answer your question for sure, Tori. If there is any question, please throw in. I'll be happy to answer. GPV again, privacy versus safety of your funds. I think the CBDC has got no difference in terms of privacy that you have when you maintain a bank account in India. It is uh, it is just like that, right? That is no big difference. As a matter of fact, there is uh, even more better control uh, over observing or analyzing a user compared to you having in a bank account. So it is actually the other way around, right? Please don't think that if CBDC is built for privacy, that's not the use case it is trying to solve, guys. I'm understanding you guys from the point of view you're coming in from, because we are from the crypto ecosystem, uh, where we talk a lot about privacy of our funds, but not every use case is built for that, and this is not a cryptocurrency use case, guys. You need to definitely understand it is a blockchain use case. Right now, why this difference is coming in is definitely because we will definitely see multiple use cases that will come out of the crypto ecosystem. One such is the use of the underlying technology, which is the blockchain and the other features. Right, it's not just the blockchain that was given. Right, it's the blockchain and smart contract and blockchain that came in post Ethereum started doing a lot of upgrades and has worked out really well there. Now there are a lot of also layer twos which are bringing in newer technologies and building a lot of stuff there. Now all these techs, all these tech can be also used in a private network as well. Now from the government point of view, a public network will be their network and a private network will be a cryptocurrency. But from the crypto's point of view, a private network is a network where you take the tech and then create a permission network, right? So and you run a chain separately. So that's for us it is different, opposite to what the way the government frames or models their jargons around. So yes, um, uh, this is an interesting technology. It will be good to see the Indian government going further into this, building a lot of use case. Um, but yeah, there is always an interesting part, right? Now, whenever I have this discussion with people around, right now, should something get into blockchain? What is the use of getting anything into a blockchain? Now, if I have to build a system which I'll have to give a token, and the token can be used only for a particular thing, like how CBDCs, one of the biggest use cases. Why can't I do it as a general normal system wherein, for example, I introduce something called a credit system, right? And just add credits to it and say that this particular credit you can go use it in a ration shop, or this particular credit you can go use it in some shops. So what is the gap there where the government cannot have a general credit system, or uh, see a lot of you notice this, right? A lot of companies and a lot of websites you would find these loyalty credits, where you give credits to users and they can use it for particular thing, for paying their fee and things like that. That doesn't need blockchain, right? So why is there a need for a blockchain here? It is it's a question that we everyone has to think through. Is there really a need for a blockchain in this use case, or it can be built to the general system? Because when blockchain comes in, it also comes in with scalability issues and all of the things, right? And it just increases the cost of the tech as well, right? Now, is this needed? Um, so what is the problem that we are trying to address? So all these questions, I think, um, are much more relevant to be asked when you are trying to build something on top of blockchain, right? You don't build something on blockchain just for sake of it, but it should prove some problem that you're trying to solve. The problem should be, there are actors that we don't believe in the ecosystem, even though there are actors we don't believe in this ecosystem, but we still want this ecosystem to perform perfectly. That's when you do a blockchain, right? Or else, what are the scenarios and who are all these actors in this particular setup of CBDC that there is less trust on, right? And they have to work together even there's less trust. So there's a lot of question that needs to be understood there, which we currently don't get an answer for. Okay, now some more questions. Biggest challenge for Indian rolling out a successful CBDC? How can you? I mean, so actually, the biggest challenge for CBDC is in two fronts. Part A is the scalability issue, which is the problem with blockchain, right? Uh, India being the nation of maximum number of transactions. If you see the equity market, we have the maximum number of transactions in the world, right? So any system that we build has to take the load of maximum number of transactions, right? It should, the throughput should be very, very high. The current biggest challenge in any blockchain is the throughput, right? So that is one big issue that will hold back any government from implementing in a larger scale. So obviously, the crypto ecosystem is spending a lot of is doing a lot of research, building products. It's coming out with solutions on that case. Crypto without blockchain, the ecosystem is also working in, but I strongly feel that the real magic is happening only in the crypto ecosystem. So as and when the crypto ecosystem solves it, it could be taken to the blockchain ecosystem. The next biggest problem, as I would see in the implementation, is the use cases. Do they really need blockchain, or is blockchain being force fitted into it? That is one of the biggest discussions that has to happen. Or if the discussion doesn't happen and if things go through, or we will find a scenario where we have launched it, implemented it, and the adoption doesn't get its growth because we didn't think this through. If we are force fitting blockchain into the problem, that's why those are the bigger two challenges that I see in the CBDC rolling out. Tokyo, this once CBDC comes in, do you think people will be more or less interested in crypto or exchanges like Giottus? CBDC and see, that's what I'm trying to say. The things that crypto is trying to solve and CBDC is trying to solve is much more different. Uh, Here, at least why this particular use case should be solved by crypto is well understood because of the concept of decentralization. In CBDC, why should it be decentralized is a question that needs to be properly answered, or else it'll be really tough. So the use cases what both these ecosystems are going to solve, though they will try to solve each other's problem, but I don't think they'll be successful in a lot of areas, and they will try find each other's forts, and mostly those forts will not be a common use case that they will try to solve. Once CBDC, I mean, if CBDC comes in, just I mean, if there's more adoption in CBDC, CBDC will be one of the pairs that we will maybe try to have for trading for you guys. So it is just an addition, guys. It is not a. I mean, maybe it will increase the trades. I don't know. It all depends on the adoption of CBDC. There's a good adoption. We could also have pairs like how we have an INR. We could have a pair for CBDC, and it's good for the exchanges. There's nothing bad for exchanges in this front. Uh, okay, happiness, Richard. Do you see India CBDC and UPA working together? Make yeah. So that's what I've been saying, Richard. That both have, even UPI. What problem UPI had solved? I don't think CBDC will be best suited for that. But CBDC will be best suited for something else, which have to do with using smart contracting capability and tokenizing things, right? So maybe together they could be seen as a good force, but I don't think they'll be overlapping each other, or they will be fighting with each other. Though initially it will look like they are fighting for the same use case, they will find their way in the use cases that they solve, and they're going to be much different to each other. What the difference, Motaki's ECM, what is the difference between using e-rupee and UPA for everyday payments? Will Giottus help us switch easily between them and crypto? I mean, there's already a feature wherein you can deposit funds through IMPS, NEFT, um, RTGS, and also through UPA in Giottus, and then buy your crypto. That is also already there. Just that depositing as CBDC and buying, we currently don't support because it's in a pilot program. We don't know how it's going to move forward. Once it's out of pilot program, maybe we'll find a way to integrate. Or else, even now, you can buy with UPA transfers. And see, guys, you should understand these are all INR at the end of the day, right? Just because it is more. I'll give you an analogy. Now, consider I transfer uh, 2 lakh rupees to you through NEFT, and then you transfer the 2 lakh rupees to your friend through IMPS, and then your friend transfers to his friend or to a shopkeeper out of the 2 lakhs, 1 lakh through UPI. So, though there have been three different networks we had used, what has been common is the INR, right? And on top of it, add CBDC. Now, after that, the shopkeeper transfers to his supplier as CBDC, right? And then buys something maybe, right? So it's all INR in the whole ecosystem. So there's no trouble. There's no issue of, you know, and there's been a bank in between who's going to take care of ledger maintenance even. So yeah, so it's not going to be any different, guys. Yeah. Comedy wala means what's the difference between using e-rupee and UPI? Okay, I think I've answered. PRG, YouTube gamer. What's the difference between? Oh man, why are the questions repeating? Am I? And are these questions same type of questions? Are we having people who are having same type of questions? Okay, I'm not sure if there's something, but yeah, Toddy. Binance Bybit supports C rupee, so any chances C rupee comes in. So Toddy, this is interesting. So they don't support. So they have P2P, and P2P, the customers who are doing P2P, the retail customers have CBDC, right? Or your e-rupee, whatever you call it. So um, I don't see um, I don't see we doing P2P, and obviously P2P is very very risky. People who have been thinking that if doing P2P through CBDC, you've not been getting any cybercrime issues or cybercrime cases, you're all going to be in for a new surprise. Um, um, Better stay away from P2P, guys, be it through IMPS or UPA or CBDC as well. You're definitely going to end up in some cybercrime issue because of the number of scammers who are there in the P2P network. Though initially, even we saw advantage in the P2P exchange. Now, the way at which the international exchanges have handled their P2P with not so stricter checks of scammers there, it's been a place for people where they have literally lost a lot of funds, being frozen in their bank accounts, having so many cybercrime compliance, going, I mean, making a lot of travels to the cybercrime officers. So it's not a great scenario, guys. I mean, all the profits that you could make in the P2P trades, you're going to lose it in a matter of seconds. So please stay away from P2P. Yeah, Aaron. So we are also working on. See, though we code that UPI transactions are 2 hours, but yeah, so because there's a manual check that we're having in between, usually doesn't take much of a time if it is in the working hours. Uh, but having said that, we are also getting into a solution where there's no manual intervention. This quickly going to get resolved. So yeah, something coming up soon. I'll uh, keep you guys informed, right? Um, so that's quickly on that. Um, yeah, guys. Um, so I'm waiting for more question. Okay. Master player 3 hours. So CBDC not needed for crypto as of now. To be honest, I mean we have nothing to do with. See, it's just like an INR, right? I mean it's yet another INR network. I mean it is not going to do good or bad for the crypto ecosystem. It is just status quo, right? It has it has no role to play in the crypto ecosystem, frankly. Um, the maybe there is a role. It could be maybe we'll introduce an option for you to deposit through CBDC in future. That is once it's out of its pilot program. But or else I don't see it doing anything good or bad for the crypto ecosystem. Yeah, Master Play here. I think I'll rather be honest than saying some random yarn about how CBDC is going to gratefully influence the crypto ecosystem. Yeah. So yeah, that's a thing about CBDC, guys. But I'm pleasantly surprised. No, trust me, I'm very pleasantly surprised that you people had so much of interest to know about CBDC. That's a um, that's a great thing. That's a great thing, guys. Uh, Garudan Resort, hi Garudan Resort. Any updates on Garudan Resort? Are you the one who was earlier saying that you would introduce even getting payments to your resort through cryptos? Am I right? Am I remembering you right, or I'm confusing you with someone else? Uh, okay. Uh, the new things, obviously, we are launching a lot of tokens, um, a lot of Ton network tokens. You would definitely see in Giottus first. Uh, we are the only guys who currently support deposits and withdrawal of Ton network. And we are the only guys in India currently who have the capability to launch any Ton token quickly in the Indian ecosystem. So if you are someone who's closely following any of the gaming token or meme coin tokens in the Ton ecosystem, I think you will be better off and you will have a much bigger edge over any other person who's using any other exchange in India. Uh, you will have a better edge in Giottus. And we hold this very good distinction now, guys. We are the only guys who are going to support, who are supporting Ton network. So if you guys are closely following Ton, I think you'll understand the bigger opportunities that lie ahead for you. Follow, or if you're a customer of Giottus. Garudan, yeah, good. I remember you. Good. I'm happy to see that day. So that's one big thing, Garudan, and also the PNL part. I think last time we were asking about the PNL part. It's already uh, uh, through. The trouble is we are populating or running everyone's PNL at the back end, and that has to come to date, right? And it's a lengthier process that is running. I am hoping within the next week to 10 days, the max, you guys should have a good update coming your way on the PNL front as well, right? So that's one big thing. I think a lot of customers had queries around that. We have reworked. Uh, we have done a lot of work. So Karthik, yes, we have reworked. We have put in a lot of effort in PNL. We've taken a lot of feedback from a lot of customers on what is the ideal PNL they want to look into. So we've done that work, and it's going to be live pretty soon. So all you guys who are there in the AMA, I'll be really helpful. Once we go live, you guys come back with your feedback on how it is. Is that what you want, or is there something else you guys are looking out for? We've already taken a lot of feedback and we've built this. I'll be really happy to see if you guys like it, and if this is exactly what you will need to make sure that you were able to trade peacefully. Um, anytime around. I'm actually more than pleasantly surprised around like these many people had got questions about CBDC. I never knew the crypto ecosystem, Indian crypto ecosystem, was so much interested in understanding about CBDC. When initially my team was saying, we should discuss about this, I was saying, is it really a topic of interest that we should talk about, guys, or should we talk about something else? And but my team pushed me to do it. I'm more than pleasantly surprised to see the number of questions here, to see the engagement that's happened here. This is just wonderful, guys. I think I'll be allowed to now any question I think that could not be of interest. I think I'll start relooking into it and try to see if I can talk about it as well, guys. Now, obviously, I'm going to be here every week, 6 p.m. Monday, every week. I'm going to be here. I'm going to be talking to you guys. I'm going to be taking feedback from you guys, and I'll try my level best to make sure that I quickly act on those feedbacks. Um, I've, I've I've got the best feedbacks during these AMAs, and trust me, guys. Right after this AMA, my team gets into this mode of get going through their notes on what all we should work on this week, what is that the customer has pointed out that we have missed and everything. So it's really uh, wonderful that insights that I get from these AMAs. And good. Now I see there are not any more questions. I think I've touched enough and more on CBDC. Now I just give out one repeated warning, guys. People who all think that when you're using E2P or the CBDC in P2P, you're not having any issues. I think the time is over, guys. Uh, you're gonna start getting issues even in CBDC or E2P. So please stay away. Please stay away from P2P. Please safeguard yourself. Right? I've seen enough and more customers who have got cybercrime troubles due to when they had used P2P platform, be it Binance, Bybit, or any of these guys who are P2P. Uh, uh, it's really not worth the money, effort, and time, guys. Please stay away. There's enough and more money to be made by doing normal trades. Stay away from P2P. You will save yourself from having a cybercrime complaint. You save yourself from going to police stations. You save yourself from getting your bank account frozen or bank account amounts put into lien. Right? Please safeguard yourself. And again, going all critical on any P2P platform. Even any international platform is offering P2P, they've had given enough and more troubles to people. So please stay away. So with that thought, guys, I think I'll wrap this session. It was great having all of you. It was wonderful discussion that I had. It was a surprise discussion that I was having on a topic that I had would not have much of interest. Suddenly, it seemed to be such an interesting topic for a lot of people. So and to me as well, not early when it started, but yeah, midway through, yes. So thank you, guys. Thanks for coming in. It was wonderful having you all. Until next time, when Monday next week, 6 p.m. See you all. It was wonderful talking to you all. Wonderful connecting with you all. Take care, guys. Bye bye.